think I am going to have to get a different PlayStation. We'll see. That is funny. That is hilarious. Well, this is loading. Sorry, yeah, this is last one was entirely about the making the rovers and everything. So I'm gonna try to keep this rover thing set up, but I need to also set up this rover. So it should have saved because it crashed after we launched, after a save, and then came back. So it should have saved, which I'm glad we did a quick save just in case it did something weird. Yeah, but should have saved in a decent time. Sorry, the last one, I hate it when my game crashes like that constantly. Oh, let's see. A happy birthday from Snapchat. La-di-da. Alright. So yeah, anyway. Resume saved. Load this. It's a good thing we quick saved. I'm going to need to, I think I need a new PlayStation in order to do this. Whatnot. But luckily I have all my save data loaded to a, let me make sure there's no crafts in the, well actually it's 900,000 and that's about what I had. So yeah, should be no, what's this one debris that's sitting out here? Terminate that debris. Goodbye, debris. There should be no, yeah, none of these ships are whatnot, and none of these bases, that fun stuff. Alright. Leave tracking station. We'll do this again, hopefully. Hopefully we can actually get somewhere with this episode. Well, let's do this. And triangle and hold L1 and triangle. Nope. Warps next morning. We don't have to keep on doing that. Alright. So I need to build this rover because I need to get this set up in a way that'll work. So let's go ahead and open craft rover. Yeah, that's what I wanted. But yeah, basically what's going on is the landing gear, or these things right here, I'm gonna have to launch this. Actually, we already should have crew, Jebediah, and Valentina. I hate how it gives Jebediah right away too. But anyway, launch. Let's see exactly where stuff falls apart, where I won't be able to dock again. So what I'll do is I'll undock. I'll figure out where stuff went wrong, try to see if I can rotate the craft underneath it enough, but it looked like the docking ports were just too far away to actually dock back. That's what I saw. So a way I can remedy that is to let's see, what's a way I can remedy that? That's a good way I'd be able to remedy that. So let's go ahead and extend our solar panels. lower our wheel landing gears, set our brakes, decouple, undock. So now let's move it, zoom in, and see where stuff went wrong. So it looks like we are slightly, just ever so slightly aft, which we can fix. We just have to pull this thing forward a little bit. Yeah, it looks like we're just aft. We're still left and right correct. We're just a little bit aft. So what we're going to have to do is disable the brakes, move forward just a little bit, hit the brakes. That should be right about there. And then let's go ahead and action group 3 again. Let's see where the stuff goes wrong. So tried to dock, but it couldn't dock. For what reason? Where are we? We are still, we're a little bit forward right now. So let's go ahead and put this into docking. No, we'll keep it like this. We'll lower our gears again. Release brakes, go back a little bit. Hit brakes. We will raise our gears again. And we are a little bit looks like it is a little bit, not only just separation looks a little bit too much right now, because it's not really sitting on anything, except this back one is, we're a little bit off kilter. So let's go ahead and do this. Action group 3 again. Let's do that and get our docking ports lined up right. That is why I didn't really want to do revert flight to launch. Let's see if we can do this. We might have to move these landing gears on the back forward a little bit more, because we did crash into them and cause issue, because we do have that, we are that close to it. Alright, so now we will see where this is off kilter. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to move those landing gears slightly, because we did move forward some with the movement. The docking ports are, yeah, slightly aft of where we were, probably because we didn't have our brakes on. We're going to have to move those forward. And we will move these aft landing gears forward slightly so that they're not right up against the actual craft. I knew that was probably going to be a problem based on the whatnot stuff. I cannot have this structural support right here. Cannot have that structural support right there. Select. Because if that goes through the so if these things try to load in and they go through the landing gears, that could cause issues with the landing gears exploding. But I think my biggest issue is, if I can sort of see it right now. Rotate U. Move U. Right about there. And then come back here, see if I need to rotate U at all. Yeah, I do. Rotate you, because you're not. Yeah, you aren't perfectly straight. And we will move you. So you are directly underneath, like that. Now that should fix the issues we are having, hopefully. We will see. And we will launch. And we will see, hopefully that did the trick. Just rotating stuff. So I have what, 8 reiterations of this setup, and with that, it's still with 8 iterations, it's still kind of dangerous. So it's actually better for us to test here, because that could have been a lot worse. Okay, so we have our brakes on this time, so we're not going to roll forward on accident. We have these things set up, so they should be perfectly aligned. I might have to move that one forward a little bit, but we will see. We will do 4 to undock decouple. Then we'll do 3 to raise the landing gears up again. Hopefully, we dock directly with the craft, which we don't. So, what's causing that? Next. Alright, so this port is slightly off-center. This port is not anywhere close enough and still angled a little bit. So when this craft dropped, it dropped to the left, which means I have a slight left rotation. So my left side, or to the right. So my right side landing gear are lower than my left side are. So it tilted it. And that's what happened there. So I'm going to have to mess my landing gear location on the right side of this drone. And that way it drops level. Or the left side. I can either lower the gears further on the right side, or I can raise them on the left side. And we'll see how that goes. So, and then we can also Basically, we're going to have to lower this gear right here down even further to try to keep it level with that. Because revert flight to spaceplane hangar. Yeah. Oh man. Let's see. I'll come down here. Come down. Zoom in. Yeah, so our forward landing gear is not low enough, so I'm going to click on it to move. Alright. Click on our middles and move them down just a little bit. That should get our positions about right for those docking ports. So I'll blow out of batteries. Should get our positions right for the docking port's height by doing that. And then our docking ports left to right, let's go ahead and look at our landing gear. So if we look at this, these are like that, these are like that. Let's see if that fixed it first. We'll save craft, because that might have fixed something. We'll launch. We'll see. Basically, I want to make sure that we can dock and undock from whatever piece we send up. And then make sure it all fits in right and all that other fun stuff. So basically, once we have the ports set up, I'll be able to send the rovers up and everything. I should try to make a wider one. Should try to make like a wider or a taller craft so I can use the actual good docking ports. But I have to make my base and make all the modules for my base based off of that. Alright, so let's go ahead and 3. Let's go ahead and 4 with brakes on. Could have messed that up a lot more than I did. Let's go ahead and 3. Alright, where are we having our disconnect? Alright. Could have just been from the... so our docking ports are almost perfect. Almost. I still have to, let me revert flight to launch and see. But yeah, I might have to move my landing gears down just a little bit more further forward. We'll see. We'll figure this out. Once you have this module figured out, building the rest of the modules should be a piece of cake, honestly. Alright, so brakes on this time. 1. 3. 3. and then 4, and then 3. I still have that slight disconnect right there, so I might have to raise my front end up a little bit more. Let me see how much disconnect is here. Yeah, I'm going to raise just this forward landing gear right here up a little bit more, or lower it down just a little bit more, and then hopefully that should line everything up and get everything to dock again. Unless there's a new mechanic out that I don't know yet about docking. And then after I do that, I will see if this works. If not, I'll add more forward support. Alright, let's move you down one more, like that. Let's click launch. Hopefully this will work. If it does, I'm reverting flight. If it doesn't, I'm reverting flight and fixing it. But I forgot to save it, so I'm gonna have to revert flight, check it, make sure it's all good. And then make sure this actually works. I could also move the landing gear on the forward of the thing. Okay. Brakes on. And 3 again. So why isn't this thing docking or redocking? I'm trying to figure that out. You docking. You're at the perfect height for the docking ports now. Docking. Brakes off. Brakes on. Brakes off. Brakes on. Should be in theory docking. Oh man. I'll raise the forward gear up a little bit and then raise the forward gears on the actual craft up a little bit. And I'll also get rid of these middle gears and see if that works. There you are. guys up a little bit. Move over here a little bit, zoom in, zoom out. So I have my left and right fixed on the issues. Now I'll be able to launch. Hopefully that worked. If not, I'll be really pissed off if I have to redesign this to have senior docking ports on here. Or not senior, regular docking ports. Which honestly, this would be a lot better if I was using the robotics parts, because then I could just keep the it'd be so much easier if I had the robotics parts on right now. But staying true to no DLC, completely 100% vanilla stock. Brakes on. 1, 3, 3. 4, 3. 4. Alright, let's swap to that probe. Which it did not dock, which is angering me because these docking ports are aligned just slightly aft. Start revert flight to launch. I hate these docking ports. I really do. And it'll be so much easier once I have that 6-way, because I can replace the forward of that thing with a 6-way, have a larger docking port, and basically do the same thing except with a larger, better docking port. And then have another docking port on top of that. But let's go ahead and brakes 1. Let's see if this thing actually moves as well and moves decently. What we'll do is we'll just hit the gear, lower everything onto the gears. Alright, so I don't know if you noticed that, but we are still leaning slightly, so that might be being a huge contributor. Because when we landed, watch how it goes up now with everything. It will go up one side first. When we go down again, the left side goes down faster than the right side does. So I might have to remove those landing gears on the left side and place them in a way where they are slightly above the ground, or remove the landing gears entirely from the, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove the landing gears up and down entirely from the sides, and that should fix the issue of it not docking or docking. But I can't really do that because it's going to have... Oh, we'll see. So I think I might need those landing gear. Yeah, I'm going to need these landing gear. Fudge monkeys. Decent sneeze. So if I move that, it's going to move both of them, right? Fudge monkeys. Yeah, it's going to move them both. If I just move one. So I'll have to place these one at a time. And then move them. Because I am going to need that support when I'm steering. Because even though this is wide, it's not going to have the wide gear support on it unless... Alright, so I'm going to remove these landing gears. Place them one at a time. Goodbye. Goodbye. Ground, landing gear. Alright, so placing it one at a time. There we go, that's what I wanted. I'm going to place it on the side like that. Place it like that. Rotate it into its proper position. Like that. And then move it to its proper height. Like that. And then do the same thing up here. So I'm going to have to remove this solar panel. Because that's going to be where the landing gear goes. Actually, no, landing gear will go further up. The landing gear will now go up here, because now I can. Alright. Let's do this right. Yeah, there's no landing gears over there. This hatch is not obstructed, so we'll move or rotate this right here to its proper position. Straight up and down, like that. Alright, and then we will zoom in, and we will move that to its proper height. Move that to its proper height. Right there. Okay. Put you guys on Action Group 3. Go back to place. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Landing gear. Place you there. We'll move you. We'll rotate you to your proper rotation. Of straight up and down. Then we'll move you up to about right there, which should be about the same height as this one. And then we'll add another landing gear up here to right here. Like that. Rotate you so that you're in your proper position of straight up and down. I'll move you. Do I have the other one clipped into the ground a little bit or no? No. So you'll get moved up just a hair as well. Like that. Now that should, if I hit save craft, should be fine. I should be able to launch. Should not have any issues. We will see though. I realized I forgot something. Something very important. Revert flight to spaceplane hangar. Forgot to add the right gears to the action group to extend and retract. Action group 3. Extend, retract. Extend, retract. So 4 is to decouple, 5 is going to be to extend these ladders. Just so they're a toggle ladder. That way I at least have it set up in a way that'll hopefully work. Crew, launch. This is a very precise game that is very imprecise, especially, but it's very precise when it comes to docking ports and everything like that. Oh man. We will see. Hopefully, if this is set up right now, we can do that. Brakes are set. These wheels look about even off the ground. We can go ahead and get rid of that nav ball because we have brakes set. I don't want to see that right now. I want to see how this reacts when the landing gear come down. I don't know about you, but it looked like that came down and went up basically straight. That's what it looked like to me, at least. So hopefully now we should be able to do 3. And then 4. redock everything. But it didn't. Why are you not redocking? Stuff's lined up. Everything is lined up. You should be docking. Do I have to click here? Do I have to go to docking mode? What do I have to do to get this to dock? I'll know when it docks because it'll zoom out a lot. What am I going to have to do? Am I going to have to, let's lower this forward gear down. Retract. I'm slightly off center right now. So that means what I'll have to do is move forward a little bit. Oh man. Now let's raise that gear back again. So I'm a little bit aft right now of where I need to be. Where is that landing gear? I know you're over here somewhere. Come on, landing gear. Come on. So I'm moving back now as I am lowering down. So I am going to release my brakes, move forward a little bit, and I moved forward a little bit too much. Move back a little bit, and about right there. Bring my landing gear back up. Hopefully this slight forward will move back. I'm going to need to move back just a little bit more. So if I had the regular docking ports, they're wider and they're more easier to dock with. The regular docking ports. I'm a little bit aft, too far aft now. So now I'm going to have to move ever so slightly forward. Moved a little bit too far. So I don't like these little docking ports, but in order to get it to work, I'm still a little bit too far aft right now. This one has to be like lined up perfectly in order for it to work. And I'm starting to go left and right off center now. So now let's back this out completely. Let's bring it back straight. Alright. So I know this right here works, that the going back and forth and whatnot. Alright, so let's go ahead and come in that way. And then line up, head that way. And now we should be lining directly up with the docking ports directly, hopefully. And then let's go ahead and start slowing down. Let's go in a little bit now. Just do our final alignments. Alright. So right now, left and right, we are dead center in the front. Almost dead center there. Looks like we are about dead center there. And voila, we have docked. Alright, so we can undock and redock with this thing. Alright, so now that I know I can do that, I just had to pull out all the way and then go back in and reline up and everything. But we are properly docked with this craft. Now let's see how well this craft actually moves. Alright. Turn the brakes off. Might want to do that. So now with these pods to the sides, let's see how well this moves and handles. Still handles pretty well. Doesn't want to tip over yet, even though we're doing a decent turn right now. That's good. And then if this works the way I want it to, we will see. And hopefully we will be able to get this thing where I need to go. Yeah, that was it. I just wasn't properly lined up left and right. So I hate these little docking ports because they require the most precise lining up. Otherwise, they won't ever dock. The larger the docking port, the more imprecise that docking procedure is going to be allowed to be. Going over these, always go over your hills slow. Otherwise, you'll probably end up ramming something into the ground, and then that will end up messing it up. Like, I need to make sure they can go down a slope. And brakes on while going backwards should be slowing us down some. We're going at 3.7 meters per second. Hopefully it doesn't do anything to the brakes off. And there's that. Okay, so now we need to make sure this thing right here docks. I didn't mess with the heights of the stuff too much. And if this works, I will call this rover a success. I will do what I need to do. Yeah. And I'll start sending rovers with whatever I need to do. So the first rover is going to have the part attached to it that requires whatever sent to each base, and then I will have the part itself by itself sent, because it should have the same height and everything as this. And again, I am going to, once I get the part built, I'll make sure that the rover itself can get underneath it and all that fun stuff. Which is a reason why I'm not recovering this rover if this works. I will move the rover back to the runway and or back to to the spaceplane hangar, set it off to the side, and then manually get Valentina and Jeb out, and then yeah, we will have them flying the crafts. Alright, and then we will set up with an Eve transfer window, try to get a relay network set up around Eve, because we're going to need a relay around Eve. Because I don't know if you remember this, but we didn't have a strong enough antenna or a strong enough connection to the Kerbal Space Center with the antenna we had on the actual whatnot. So we're going to need that relay set up. That way we can still talk back with the Kerbal Space Center with our better antenna. But we are going to unlock science, so every single, both my MUN and my Minmus landers are going to have the science sections slowly added in. It's going to be a, how should I say this? How am I going to build this science unit? I'm going to build the science unit with the mystery goo, not mystery goo, the thing that opens up the observed materials bay, the I forget what it's called, but it's a circular Mark 1 sized connections, and that is going to be where the docking port then goes on forward of that, and then it's going to have the structural get larger, and then it's going to have the larger crew or passenger thingies, and then it is going to have the larger whatchamacallit thingies. Oh man, I forget what they're called. I forget what they're called. But it's going to have a lot of the larger units that allow it to do stuff. But yeah, I need to make sure this right here docks properly with the is at the proper height still. And then I'll just leave this fuel unit connected to this base, because every single one of these is eventually going to require fuel added onto the base, liquid fuel. And then, so I'll add monopropellant stuff to this, but I'll eventually add ore and ore refineries and stuff like that. Yeah. So a way I would potentially be able to make some money off of this is to get a ore refinery set up here with a bunch of ore tanks and whatnot, and have that running. And then, because when you recover with the ore, it's going to give you more money than without it. So and then create something that pulls all the ore that's off of there on there, come over, release whatever, back out, recover the thing with the ore in it, and then call that a day and get some more money that way. But that's a tedious grind that will not give you a whole lot of money. You'll get more money from contracts and stuff like that. So eventually the bases will get upgraded from their power units from solar panels to RTGs. Eventually the bases I send out won't have solar panels on anymore. It'll just be RTGs. Yeah, I have a lot of fun stuff. I'll have to figure out the best time to send a um, ship to my solar space station. So I'd be able to add people to that and take them away from that. But it should be, honestly, about the same, slightly. So if it's slightly faster, slightly closer than Duna's sphere of influence, or transfer window, in order to get a transfer window to my orbital station, because it's in between Duna and Eve, and yeah, it should be slightly before. So if it's 44 point whatever degrees, I'll probably be around 40 or 38 degrees um, for optimal transfer window. But there's a way I'd be able to check that. Um, but yeah, I need to make sure this right here can actually do its job and line up and dock properly and have the proper size and height and everything, which I think it does. Um, we'll figure that out. But yeah, what will happen is we will make the liquid fuel connectors. We'll make the everything have proper probe cores, which honestly, this should be proper enough. No, we'll need better probe. I can always attach a better probe core to the forward, or no, yeah, I'll just upgrade the probe core to be better than what it is now, to the best probe core I have. I wanted to add a. Why in the world are you swaying left like that whenever I go forward or right? I guess my stick was slightly to the right. I always like to test the handling of craft before I send them up too. It's just something I do. Um, I think I can make an SSTO that flies up, but it will require both liquid fuel and oxidizer right now because I don't have the nuclear engines unlocked. But it would also require 2 jet engines plus 2 other engines, which I would have to use the. I know what I would use if I were to do this, and yeah. I mean, I guess I could send liquid fuel and oxidizer full units up to wherever, build whatever space stations, have an SSTO refueling unit, which would probably be this. But if I do that, then I'd have to build the SSTO to be at the height of this, so it would just be able to get docked in and then refueled and then docked out with a docking port on the front, which I can't do. Come on now, go faster towards the thing. Alright. So far so good. Moving at a decent pace towards the whatnot. And then what I'm going to do after I undock and make sure this thing docks right, I'm going to lower it down, back it out, and then quick save and test the handling and at what time this craft actually, or this thing actually flips over, so I can see how fast I can turn on Kerbin. If it's a really fast time, then that'll be great, because that will mean it'll be pretty stable on whatchamacallit, the Mun, and on stable enough on Minmus. The only thing that I have is these wheels might be too weak to actually move craft on Eve, but we will see that. We will see about that. Yeah, that'll be something we have to look into. $400 meters away. Come on now, let's do this. Let's do this. Hopefully this rover does amazingly. I want it to do amazingly, and then I'll start sending up whatever units I need to whatever base is asking for extensions with the rover first, and I'll send some crew on it with it. Something I can do is once I get the robotics parts, I'm going to start building rockets on other celestial bodies, and I'll show you how to do that with that. I'll need a new rover on there, but basically I'll send the rover up to somewhere. Put a lot. I mean, I guess I don't have to. I can just build space stations that have whatnot. And I just want to have the accomplishment of building a functional rocket on the Mun or on Minmus. Minmus will probably be best because they'll be the best Delta V savings. And have like a massive engine, like unnecessarily massive engine for it. But we'll see. Okay, we're heading up closer to the base. We'll start to slow down right about now with our brakes. Alright, getting closer. Let's move to a better angle so we're aimed directly at the docking port. Oh man, let's do this. And then I'll eventually, honestly, it should be an engineer, you know, driving this thing and not a pilot, because pilots don't know how to like tow and stuff. Unless I like prior maintenance, and engineer is closest to maintenance I can get in this game. Alright, let's go ahead and see about our extra monopropellant. We'll extend the gears. We'll lower our do I not have you saved to Action Group 2 yet? Retract that one. And we'll retract this one. Looks like we're going to be a little bit high, so I might have to lower the landing gear on that. We will docking mode, RCS on, and we will go. Oh, I might want to turn my brakes off. Not a very good thrust to weight ratio right there. And we're finally moving. Come on. You know you can move. Alright, so it looks like I don't have enough thrust weight ratio to actually send this anywhere, but I can remedy that by doing this revert flight. So I know that the craft will move via electrical power. I know the craft will, if I had, it moved before with less weight, which was the monopropellant we added. But now it won't move with the weight we have on now, which is the landing gear and monopropellant. So a way to remedy that is to go to command and control, get these, and we will add in sets of 6 here, because that will be, yeah, like that, and then a singular 1 in the middle. Alright, and that is all my little whatnot, so that's 7. And over here I will add 6 here. Oh no, it's not gonna let me. So now what I'll do is I'll come here and put 8 more here in the middle, like that, just offset slightly. And now that should basically move. So I'm going to do, oh yeah, and I need to make sure these landing gears are on action group 2. Extend, retract. So this is all testing. This is all what this right here is you want to test everything. So why you want to do this before you send it off station. Let's go ahead and save craft, and let's go ahead and launch it. And basically what's going to happen is I'm going to send the rover as its own subassembly. This fuel tank is its own subassembly. And yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see what we can do. But I'm going to try to unlock the inflatable heat shield, because that will make it, how to say this, it'll be better if I unlock the inflatable heat shield for sending the bases up and everything like that. Alright. Action group 2. Add 2. Now I should be able to move with RCS now. So I put a lot more thrusters on. Yep, I can move a lot better now with RCS. So now what I'm going to do is action group 3 and 3. power it down to that. Turn RCS off. Get out of docking mode so I can actually move forward. And we will start making our way to the craft again and see if we can dock with it. This is why we do all this testing. We need to make sure we can actually do what we're doing. And then basically what I'm going to be doing is, once I get this off the runway, when I do redo this fuel tank and put the better thing on it, I'm going to have the root part as the forward docking port, which is something I will save as right away. But yeah. Slow down, slow down. Still want to go a little bit faster. Try to take this slope at a direct angle instead of a sideways angle. And once we get over the hump, once we get to about 3 meters per second, I'm going to start I'll put on the brakes and whatnot. But you always want to, whenever you're doing something like this, you want to make the craft super slow going over these things, because 3 meters per second, slow it down, slow it down. Probably should have done it like 2 something meters per second, because this is make sure nothing breaks. There we go. Release the brakes, start moving forward, and start moving towards that base, which this thing says, for being extremely top heavy, is extremely because right now all the weight's up in the fuel up there, so it is even though it's extremely top heavy, which means that it's extremely prone to flipping over. The wide base, it looks like it is keeping it at a decent pace, so there is that, or decent, because right now if I do that and nope, I do not tip over, I do not slide and tip over, which is good, which means this thing would probably be very stable on mud with its wideness. Right, and just it's very, very easy to move like that. Alright. And we are gaining electrical charge back, just not very fast because we are still moving. We did use a lot of electrical charge trying to move this and whatnot, and it does take a lot of electrical charge because it does have all these wheels, and each of these wheels takes a bit of electrical charge to do. So yeah. I'm just glad I finally got this to the proper height to dock. I'm so happy I did that. Now all I have to do is make sure that I'm at the proper height to dock into the mothership, or the base, and then once that happens, then the base will be ready and I'll be able to send a rover up. And I think what do I need to add to the Mun base. 11 Kerbals, so another research lab. It's not a lot I need to do. So another 5 Kerbal. So um, the Kerbals. I mean, I'll probably add more than just 5 Kerbals capability to it because the Hitchhikers is 4 Kerbals. The lab that it's requiring is another 2, so that's already 6. And the Hitchhikers is only like a quarter the size of this fuel thing. So if I'm going to be adding to the here, I'm going to have probably, honestly, would probably just add in the 6 because that'll probably be the length right here with right here being the Hitchhikers, and then up to about right here being the lab. So it's probably about the same length, maybe a little bit shorter. So yeah, 6 Kerbals capable will be sent there with a Kerbal engineer sent with this, and a Kerbal pilot, probably Jeb. And then hopefully, so if I do this right, I'll have a craft I can return with an engineer and scientist. So Jeb, Bill, and Bob will head to Minmus, and I will add the science units to the habitation. No, I'll add this. How am I going to do this? Because it hasn't asked me to add science stuff to it, but I need to add science stuff to it so I can utilize the lab the best. But I really don't. I can take a surface sample from where the base is, and then process that in the lab. That should give me plenty of science process in that lab. It has an antenna already on it. It has 2 good solar panels on it already. So yeah, it should work. I don't know if you noticed this. I do have an I do have a junior docking port up here. That's mostly so I can control from there, make it more stable. But also, something I just realized I can do is add another little unit with a bunch of RTGs on it, so I can get rid of the. I just have to upgrade this instead of replacing it completely with RTGs. But I'm just so glad that I got this to actually work. And since the actual drone doesn't, or the actual thing doesn't extend past forward, I'll be able to extend outwards, sideways. And yeah, so whatever will fit in, we'll make sure everything stays clear of these landing gear. Yeah, I like it. I am doing I'm really happy about the way this base extension rover is turning out. And basically, I'll be able to send this rover with it, and take the scientist and the pilot with it, and then just go to another biome, and then gather a surface sample from there, and that should also give me a lot more science by turning it into science in the lab. But the lab is, like I said, overpowered. It really is. Yeah. And we're slowing down, so let's go ahead and speed this up a bit. I hope that these wheels are going to be strong enough to carry this big old fuel tank to on Eve. I doubt it though. I think I'm going to have to get an engineer out and repair all the wheels and whatnot constantly. Can't wait to do a Duna base, just because Duna is, I think, easier to land on than Eve. Oh, it is a lot easier to land on because I've already landed on Duna. Yeah. Maybe, just maybe, what I'll do is, because I need to build a craft to get back, I can send a bunch of drones with, once I get the robotics. Well, I need to be able to return from Eve without using the DLC, so I'm going to need to utilize the, whatchamacallit, I forget what it's called. I'll need to utilize the stock game in order to, or not stock, because technically the well, no, because it has DLC. Yeah, the stock game, in order to get there so that people that don't have the DLC can still replicate and use this as see my goods and bads on what works, what doesn't, and hopefully add their own little twist to it. I hope they're not just replicating exactly what I'm doing, but yeah, we'll see. Alright, so I know this extremely top heavy thing is extremely balanced. Like everything was done with the balancing and whatnot, and it doesn't topple over with the big payload, the heaviest payload that I'll probably be ever carrying with this thing on it. So let's see if it does it, how well balanced it is on its own. Like I said, once if this docks right, I'm going to quick save, undock it, quick save it, and see how fast it takes to actually flip this thing on Kerbin. And then I wonder what the gravity multiplier is based on Minmus and the Mun, and then I'll divide that speed, the flip over speed, by the actual multiplier, and hopefully that should be my flip over speed on whatever celestial body I'm going to be on. I think that's how it works. But yeah, this is going to be a decently sized craft. I need to make sure this works. I'm going to need to, I got to watch through my videos, and I'll scroll through my videos and see where stuff is. Or I can just watch through them, see how bad this actually is, but continue doing it even though it's, decently not that great and everything. But yeah, I should be able to take this rover to that biome over there, get some science from Kerbin that I don't have and whatnot. But yeah, I will make a science unit with it. So I I'm going to put science on my thing. The extra habitation in the lab will have science units added to it because I don't have any science units on my bases right now, which I will remedy with the Eve base by putting them in a unit. The unit that was going to hold my solar panels. So yeah. And like I said, eventually I'll get RTGs added to the bases. So the bases have RTGs. They will all have RTGs eventually. They will all have good whatnot. And eventually I will build my massive spacecraft that my massive mothership that will be built in space. It'll be so large, and it will be built with DLC parts. So I'm sorry for those that want to build it. Basically, the only DLC parts that I'm going to be using are the Saturn V parts and the robotics parts, which I know are DLC parts, and you're not going to be able to get robotics parts that well to do stuff. But the basically what I'll be doing is using those parts to whatchamacallit. I'll be using those parts to figure out and thinking. Build my craft, and it'll use this multiple docking port setup where it'll be connected by multiple docking ports, which will make it more structurally sound. It's at least my plan right now. That way I don't have to worry about stuff. Let's go ahead and get closer now. That way I don't have to worry. I can get it basically in place and then extend whatever pistons I need to extend, and then do it that way. I am pretty much lined up with this thing right now. Let's go ahead and come to it. Oh, I'm a little bit off. Let's come to a stop. Okay. Right now we are slightly below. So what I'm going to do is raise this up. We are probably either really close or slightly above. Let's go ahead and get rid of our brakes. Give our docking mode on RCS, and then we will start going forward until we get right there at the docking node. Let's go ahead and turn this thing to the left a little bit. Which we are slightly higher than we are supposed to be, which tells me that I need to, so we need to do a lot of this testing right now. Since we're slightly higher, what we need to do is lower or raise all the landing gears up one click, and yeah, that should, if I do everything the same distance, should keep everything the same. Revert flight to spaceplane hangar. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. And I am back. It is reverted, so let's go ahead and do this. Come in here, move. Like I said, I'm gonna have to move all of these up one. Exact same amount. On each one of these. Alright, get out of the way, get out of the way. So if I move them all up one, what that's going to do is it's going to increase the it'll keep the distance away from the two crafts the same. And it will increase or decrease the height of the actual craft. So just moving them all up. I only want the landing gear. Oh. These things are connected to the landing gear. Quit that now. Alright, so now I gotta move these back down one. I did not realize that that was connected to the actual landing gear. Move these guys right here up one. Let's save craft. Let's launch it again. We'll make sure that stuff is sitting nice and pretty like. With all that, it should have, in theory, change the height without changing the distance between the crafts, which is what I want. I didn't want to change the distance between the crafts at the docking ports, which I could have by moving the docking ports on the fuel tank up one or in one. But if I did that, then I have to make sure to remember to increase the dock ports in one on each and every single craft, each and every single module I add and create. So first off, let me make sure if this thing comes down level like it did before, then it will stay level. Music to my ears. Everything came down level. Alright. So now let's go ahead and send it back over there again. Do I wish that I could just, send it over via the whatchamacallit, you just have vessel mover? Yeah, it makes this a lot easier, but it doesn't. I don't, because this is a PlayStation game, not a computer, so I don't have mods I can add to this thing. I do plan on getting a computer eventually that can handle KSP, because the computer I had before, just a regular laptop, and any craft over 200 parts, it would take 4 seconds to go 1 second in the game. So yeah, I'm not the best at flying or landing aircraft either. There are some that I've been able to fly and land, but I have to. I don't know why, but it doesn't. I don't do very well flying or landing aircraft unless the runway is all the way leveled up. I can land on the dirt runway over in the whatchamacallit, the island runway, but when this is a dirt runway, it's too bouncy and everything just falls apart. So yeah, there's that. Alright, about 2.5 meters per second. Once we get there, I'm going to start going back and braking. Actually, 3, because 3, everything survived on 3 last time, so it should survive again this time. Alright. My brakes, turn towards, and start moving forward. I wish this craft would have landed closer to the runway, the base, whatnot, but, you know, it is what it is. And now we do our long trek with this full fuel tank, which this actually, it will be heavier than anything I add to Eve, because I will take the entire oxidizer off when I head to Eve. So this craft, hopefully the wheels can handle with all the whatnot, because right now these wheels, let's see what the wheel stress level is per wheel, is very, very little. But it's because I have so many wheels on here right now. So the wheel stress level is 0.5. Um, no clue what the highest wheel stress point is. But at 0.5 on ours, basically we'll take the gravity of Eve. Eve's gravity D multiplier from Kerbin. Alright, let's see. Still decently far away right now, so yeah, still looking for the gravity. I don't want pressure, I want gravity. Nope. It's a science multiplier. 1.7 times Kerbin's gravity. Okay, so still decently far away, but we're starting to drift away. So let's point towards and go and speed up a little bit more. So you notice this craft right here, it is, yeah, but 1.7 times the gravity, so 0.5 times 1.7 is 0.85. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense because 2 times would have been 1 even. So these wheels should, in theory, hold up on Eve's gravity, and we'll see about that later on because we have so many of these wheels. Um, but yeah, it should, in theory, hold up with Eve's gravity. And I don't know if you notice, I don't have enough solar panels on this thing to be speeding up like constantly because I'm getting 1.6869, so about 1.7, and then if I go forward, I'm using 7, about 7.5. So to speed it up, so these wheels use 8 units of electricity per second, and I have with these guys, what is it? 0.51. These guys are blocked out because they're in the shade. So I have one. Yeah, so it's blocked out because they're in shade. So I have about yeah, so about 1.68 right around there. So I can't continuously just keep speeding up, but using electrical stuff, which I plan on making. It's my Eve Ascent module, not the one I'm making now, but my future ones are going to try to make use of Eve's thick atmosphere. By basically, it's going to be a helicopter, and I'm going to use RTGs and rotors with a crap ton of batteries because I know that even with RTGs, the rotors use a lot of battery power, and I don't want to use so much weight in RTGs and cost in because RTGs are expensive. Um, so I'll add more batteries to it. That way, hopefully, by the time I get up to a higher altitude, I'll have more delta V without actually using any fuel, and then I'll be able to start my ascent from a higher altitude, no matter where it is I land. That being said, I still need a lot of delta V to get out of Eve's atmosphere. I'll have to make sure that I don't ascend too fast because aerodynamic heating is a real thing in Eve, as we can tell from our last Eve attempt landing for a whatnot. But yeah, 800. 800 meters still, 860. Still just trudging along. Still just doing what I'm doing. I might have to change the name of this to be, Rovers and Base Expansion instead of Eve Part 2, Attempt 2, or Reattack. But yeah. We will see. But if this works, basically, this is going to be the thing that actually moves and builds whatever base. So shortly after whatever base is sent, I'll send the rover, and basically what I'm going to do is make use of Eve's transfer window the best, or whatever planet I'm going to, their transfer window the best. So most people I see, they're like, yeah, they do this, they launch one craft during the transfer window. What I'm going to do is quick save. I know I didn't do this last time. I'm going to do quick save, get all the modules set up on separate craft for Eve, whatever, and then get them all on an Eve trajectory. Hopefully them all getting there around the same time, or shortly after each other. That way, I don't have to worry about waiting another year for another Eve transfer window, and then I'm sending 4 modules up. It'll be this, and I can send basically crew and everything like that up. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I could, for the crew module, so that upper docking port right there, I could put a viewing copy up there, and that is not only a control point, which would mean I could put a Kerbal inside of it and then use that as like the pod, and then transfer them over to the actual rover. But it's also a requirement for a lot of these additions and base stuff is to have that. And I know all my bases are going to have a viewing copy on them. Like this one's right here, just staring at Kerbin's ground right now, which is where they will be staring. But it'd be nice to have one facing down and up. I'll eventually make a ocean base for Eve as well, but that will be at a later time because I need to do my first Eve landing first. And yeah, we will see, because we'll also do a Duna landing eventually once the contract for Duna landings comes up. Can't believe they gave us Eve right away. I guess I could have declined and then kept on declining until I went to Duna, but that would have messed with my reputation, because each time you decline, your reputation goes down by 1. And right now it's at about 51, so I don't have a whole lot of reputation right now yet. And it is because I've declined, I don't know, like 12, 14 missions already. So I don't really you don't necessarily want to decline missions, because this lower your reputation, the worse missions you get, the less paid missions you get, and that kind of stuff. But I don't like the tourist missions at all, because you get no money from them. There's no point in it except for getting reputation. And I guess that means that you'll get better contracts later on, but you can also get reputation by just recovering your vessels, and there's other ways to get reputation. It's a lot cheaper. It doesn't cost money, or it does, but you'll get money back for it as well. But anyway, the massive spacecraft I plan on building, like I said before, it's going to use these Saturn V parts. You could replicate the Saturn V, these fuel tanks, the orange ones, with the Saturn V ones. This is the big orange fuel tank, by the way, not the Saturn V ones. Slow down so I don't crash into this base. Alright. 3. That should be right about at the right height. And I am right about even with that docking port. RCS on. 0.5 5 meters per second. You don't ever want to approach a docking port fast. Always want to approach it slow. So if you do too fast, you'll end up messing with the docking and it will just not be the greatest. So it is still slightly high, which means I'm going to have to add or yeah, I'm going to have to raise all of them about 1 again because it is still just slightly high. So 1 click again for all of them. We'll just keep on doing that until we get it, you know, the right height. Spaceplane hangar. There are reasons I do what I do. Move you up 1 click. Up 1 click and up 1 click and quit that. Up 1 click. Alright, up 1 click. Up 1 click. So everything has moved up 1 click, I believe. This one right here might just, yeah, everything should have moved up 1 click. And let's save this craft and let's launch it again. Let's see. That is the painful part, is getting these things set up just perfect, where everything is the right height. Because these landing gear will compress more or less with the gravity, but it'll compress at the same rate. So that's just something you want to look into. Can't wait till this rover is done. So once it's done, then I'm going to save it. I mean, I'm saving it, but I'm just going to save it as the rover itself, as a sub-assembly, so I can start sending it with whatever units I am sending. Yeah. And let's go ahead and do this. 3, 4. It's not what I wanted to do. Revert flight to launch. That was wrong staging of stuff. I decoupled while still pushing into the thing, and it blew everything up. I don't even know why I'm doing that when I can just, you know, lower the gear. 1. Bring that out. Make sure this thing lowers evenly. good. And forward we go. And moving forward while we're turning straight. This way we get the most out of this. Alright, heading towards north. Again, about 3, we will hit our brakes and move backwards to try to slow down. Let's set you as a target. Fun stuff. It's all over again. So obviously my brakes are not the strongest right now. Release the brakes. Aim towards target. And accelerate. I'll try to get it to like 10 or 11 meters per second with this. See how fast I can actually get it. I can't wait to actually test drive this thing. Speed up. Everyone wants you to speed up, speed up. What's our surface speed? Still 7.7. I don't care about target speed, I just want surface speed. Speed up. Getting up to speed. So 8 meters per second. We're not moving very fast. Let's see, 8 meters per second times 3.4 times 60 times 60 divided by 5,280. So 18 miles an hour is what we're doing right now. This is a tractor. I'm talking about like the farm tractor, not the semi-tractor. Speed is how fast this thing moves, is 18 miles an hour. I know there's some tractors, farm tractors, that are moving, that move faster than this. I know one that goes like 23, 24 miles an hour. But, yeah. Let's see. Clear everything 10 times 3.4 times 60 times 60 divided by 5,280. So what I'm trying to get up to is 23 miles an hour. Yeah. Yeah. That is going to be fun. Dum ba dum bum bum bum. Sorry. Do not get mad at me and say copyright stuff. Alright. 9.2 meters per second. It seems like the fastest I'm actually capable of getting this thing. Or right around 9.2. This thing does not move very fast, which I guess is okay. So, good to note down with a fully loaded payload, 9.2, oh, 9.3. We got up to 9.3 meters per second. 9.4, 9.6. So we're speeding up. We're going faster and faster and faster. And this thing still doesn't even wobble really. Oh, it does a little bit at 9.6. So at 20 miles an hour, sharp turn, not 20, yeah, about 20 miles an hour, I'd say. So, let me make sure, 9.6 times 3.4 times 60 times 60 times divided by 5,280 is 22 miles an hour. It is 9.6 meters per second. Or about 34 kilometers an hour. For the, if there's have any viewers that are not American. Oh man, so much. Hopefully this is the right height. I hope this is the right height. Should be the right height. I don't know why I got that theme stuck in my head. What is that just standing there? You know what? I've seen that off in the side view and off by my runway or launch pad whenever I launch. It annoys me that I don't know what that is. It's not a piece of debris. If it was a piece of debris, it would show up on my tracking station. And it's been there since like the beginning. Is it a tree? Is it a monolithic structure? What is it? You will be found out because I ain't going to take this drone to you. Something else I can do is, instead of adding science units to the structures, I can add science units to the drone. I could do that. Get science units added to the, not drone, this guy. The base builder. The rover. Get it added to that. And then we will, be able to take this rover to other biomes and just, put science on it. Then I can add extra science units as they come out. Slowly approaching the base. Please be the right height. I wish I could edit and make different, flags while I'm on here, or have it, import images and stuff like that, and make flags for to personalize your own very own Kerbal Space Program instead of having the choice of your 30 flags. You can do that on the computer version, which is also very easy to cheat on the computer version, but you know, you can't really do that or cheat on the console version unless you know how to open up the coding of the games on the console version, which if that is, then you'll know how to easily edit the code to give yourself more fuel and whatnot. This is a no cheat mode. Okay, this is all 100% stock, 100%. I mean, I know I've got the Making History and Breaking Ground DLC added. What is that? It's annoying living crap out of me. It's there, but it's not on my tracking station. But anyway, we need this to be at the exact same height as that other docking port for one reason alone. So like the gears will compress at the same rate, because I'm using the same gears basically for this. So it'll compress the same rate, which will keep the modules at the same height under different gravity situations. Which means that I'm going to be capable of just using the and aiming at it. Let's go ahead and start braking. This looks like it'll be about right now. At it, let's slow down with our electrical charge. Let's aim right at it. Alright. Let's go ahead and action group 3. It looks like it's at the right height. Moment of truth. Alright. Moment of truth. This will be a lot easier to move on, you know, lighter planetary surfaces. I might not be able to get this thing to actually move on Eve, but before I build the Eve one, I'm just going to add more monopropellant stuff to it. Alright, so I'm slightly off kilter. I'm lined up right, but I'm off to the left or right a little bit. I don't know why in the world that is in my head right now. Let's go ahead and start moving forward again. Let's go ahead and now that we're moving forward, start steering left. Docking mode. Start steering right about now. That should line us basically right up with the docking port. Now we did that minor correction right there. We will see if we're at the right height. We are at the right height. So now what I am going to do is raise those landing gear, or lower those landing gear. I should have probably raised these landing gear first. gear exploded for whatever reason. Reasons unknown. Two of my landing gears exploded for reasons unknown. Or maybe that wasn't the landing gears. Maybe I only had these things set up this way. Anyway. Anywho. Let's go ahead and undock. That is not what I want to see. Revert flight. Launch. Do I have... I should have 3 landing gears on here. So the rear landing gears are going to be extremely important. And I might need to move it up and down one more to get it perfectly height right. Oh, man. So I do have 3 sets of landing gear right now. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is make sure I can lower this down. And decouple, which I can. My height is right. I'll just have to readjust to wherever. But my height is right with all these docking ports. So that should be good. So revert flight to launch. I'll be able to dock again still. I'll just need to make sure to raise lower the gear, raise all gear, then lower my gear again. I'll have to see about maybe raising all of the gears up one more. Might be the play I need to do for this. Oh man. Alright, so three, two, forward and 1. I need this to work. A lot of this stuff you're doing is testing and everything. You gotta test all your stuff before it goes, because I think I'm up to like 16 now or 17 tests, somewhere around there. And so all that testing happened, and I would rather do all those reverts, 3 minutes in instead of 20 or 30 minutes into a flight each time. It's very important to have your test base already. Alright. Don't want to head over the ledge too fast. speed up to 20 miles an hour. Trust me, this is as boring for me as it is for you. Just watch me do the same exact trek over and over and over again. But it's important to be able to build and expand on your bases, is to have a rover that can do this and have it set to set proper height and all this other fun stuff. So basically, what's going to happen is I'm going to find the height. I'm going to make all the modules that I'm going to need aft of this. And then do all the testing and make sure it all works before I start sending all the modules out. Which shouldn't be hard, because once I get this, I'll basically I can easily have done this a better way if I would have just loaded in the base and put the base on the front and as the main part, and then redid the size, make sure everything is the same height. I get it initially, but I didn't, because yeah, I have no clue why. Oh, don't want to twist too. So yeah, round 8, it tries to flip. This is with a payload on it. A heavy payload too, like the heaviest payload this thing will ever carry, unless I start using the Saturn V parts, but still. But yeah, I eventually plan on making a rocket building craft that will make massive rockets in the atmosphere. Just because I want to actually build a rocket on another planet or another celestial body. Whoop, don't want to go that far like that. It's just something I want to do. I will figure out what that pillar is eventually. La dee dee. I have no clue why that is stuck in my head. I haven't watched that movie in a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean like 2 years. I think the last time I watched it, I was deployed to not Afghanistan, but another location. I should watch that movie again. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I'm. Yeah, I'm not going to make it to Eve with the Eve stuff, but hopefully I'll have everything I need for the Eve base set up, and then I'll launch 2 relays, 2 bases, and 2 of every module, all about the same time, which will be a lot. But that way, I'll have enough, space for all the Kerbals. I'll be able to, when the contract comes in, to add additions to. I'll be able to, deorbit whatever. I'll be able to put a base on Gilly. It'll be a base on Eve. And I'll wait until the end. Well, yeah, no, I won't. I'll just, launch the crew module first, and then the uncrewed stuff second. and then that should, in theory, give me enough to in theory give me enough to actually do all the stuff. And I'll have my quick save set to the first launch, and then if I can't land again, I will reload back to before everything else got launched, and just recover the vessel, or I'll just quick save to before the launch. That way I can yeah, save some money. I'm not going to be able to send that many rockets up though at the same time, because they're all going to have I mean, the only one that should be able to make it without any editing is going to be the relay network, but I'm going to edit the relay network to have better interchangeable parts. Please work. Please work the way you're supposed to. One more click up with everything. If this doesn't line up perfectly and does that wobbly thing, should be perfect for the height it's required. So we'll see. We will see. 2 hours of me trying to get this rover over to the space. I should have just relaunched another base and made sure it landed like right next to the runway instead of 3 kilometers. I mean, it makes sense to have it a little bit further away just in case I have my landing style is landing either to the right of the runway or left of the runway. The other side, the Kerbal Space Center is not on by the direction I come in. So I don't actually ever normally land on the runway, and I don't know why. I know the height of the runway. I can now do this so that I have my height set to, how far away I'm actually from the ground, which I didn't know before, by the way. So technically, yeah, I could fly from the ground, but basically above 3,030 meters. If I wanted to follow the stuff, I would move from, if flying, I would move from above terrain right here to above sea level, because that's the height, 10,000 feet, or about 30 meters. It's about the height that they swap over to 299er, the radar altimeter number to be the same. They don't normally, until they're on descent back down, change it, and then everyone flies off of that radar altimeter number for their height. Why am I whistling that? Because I want to see that movie. Oh man, I wish they made more movies with those characters and actors, because they only have the one right now, and I think they could have done more, done better. Like they did the TV show in like the 70s or 80s or 90s or somewhere like that, which was well liked for what it was, and they thought it was good enough to do another movie off of. So there's that. Apply my brakes. into this thing. Alright, so I'm a little bit to the left of it. So what I'm going to do is go to docking mode, turn on my RCS, turn off my brakes. Alright, go a little bit forward like that. Turn off my RCS. And aim that direction. A little bit like that. Swap back to docking mode. RCS back on. Turn RCS back off. Back to staging mode. And once I get to my angle I'm going to want it at, so basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to angle the line straight down through the center, or a little bit to the aft of center, and then I'm going to start turning it back this way. The reason for that is that will allow me to move, basically reorient it to line directly up with the craft. There's the dock right there. So now let's see how this looks as is. That's still on the ground. Let's go ahead and extend these gears out. We should hopefully be at the same height. Alright, all three of those are out. Let's go ahead and bring these gears up. Okay, so my landing gears are up. My drone, my thing is completely off the ground. All right, let's go ahead and decouple. Yes. And then let's go ahead and back on out of here. Why aren't you backing on out? Oh, wait, dude, that's why. I am not selected the, whatchamacallit. Alright, so let's go to tracking station. So now I know that this right here actually works. I'm going to swap over to the actual ship, or the actual drone. And, not drone, I mean, I guess it's a ship right now, but the rover, and pull it back. And yeah, that should work. Oh, that's right, I need to do this right here. Ships, because it's still seen as a ship. Or is it not? Oh, it's seen as a plane. Whoa. And fly that. Should have saved just in case the Kraken decides to show up. With loading all these parts in. Load it in and let me get this craft out of there. But if I lose these two Kerbals, my favorite Kerbal and my least favorite Kerbal, which I didn't, so that's good. And I got a unit because I docked a craft. I mean, this thing speeds up very fast now. Look at that. And it clears completely. Look at that now. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is come here, come to a stop, clear this out because I don't like seeing that. How much money did I get, by the way? 14,000, 15,000, 1 science, 2 reputation. Alright, let's go ahead and save game as quick save. Yes, overwrite it. And then let's go find that whatever it is and go to it. Alright, so this thing right here, empty. Speeds up very fast. Let's see if I go whoop. It does not even think about flipping over by doing 9 meters per second, which I think is as fast as this thing will go still. But 9 meters per second, a sharp circle doesn't even phase it. That is amazing. Let's see what this is, because I do not know, and I want to know, because I see it off the side all the time. So yeah, this thing is extremely stable, very good craft. Hopefully you guys can replicate it. But yeah, hardly used any monopropellant. Still used about 20 units of monopropellant when I used about 20 in order to move it before, but that's only when I had 55 units instead of 255 units. And ooh, I'm doing 10.2, 10.3. This thing moves. It's moving. It's going about 28 miles an hour now. Decent speed. I do not know what that is. It's annoying the living crap out of me. Let's see at 10.6. It thinks about it, but it doesn't. At 10.6 meters per second, it still thinks about it. I gotta get this thing moving. I gotta get really moving. And we'll see at above 10.6. What is this? Is it just an error, or is it an actual monument, or what is this? I think it's just an error in the game loading. It might actually be an addition based on the Breaking Ground DLC. But I am confused as to why this monolith is right here. What are you? You are a wall. You are a Oh, it is not an error. It is a gigantic squad thing. Trying to figure out what that is. Annoyed me. You know what? Let's go ahead and extend these ladders out. Come on out like this. Get a picture of squad with this. I'm telling you, that was not in the old stuff. So anyway, so now I know what this is. Let's see if I can flip it. Okay, it breaks off. Yeah, that squad monolith was not there in the older version, so that's a newer edition, I guarantee you. Alright. So now this way, basically what I'm going to be doing now is making this in a way that ensures. Alright, so it's going at, let's see how fast I can get it going on its own electrical charged motors. But yeah, these wheels should hold up on E because it's not anywhere near the overweight. I'm going to try to flip this craft. I really am going to try to flip it. So see how fast it goes, and then try to flip it. Alright, so on electric charge, 10.4 meters per second so far. 10.5. It's not accelerating as fast as it used to be, but still accelerating slowly. 10.6 meters per second. 10.7. Let's see if I can get it up to 11. We will see. So getting this thing up to 10 meters per second. Oh man, I can't even get it up to 11. This is it. This is extremely stable. 10.7 is the fastest I could get this thing to. And it just did a complete 360 without even thinking of flipping over really. Which 10.7 meters per second times 3.4 times 60 times 60 times divided by 5,280 is 24 miles an hour. So let's see if I can get it even faster. So I've got plenty of room right now. Let's head straight towards these mountains. So faster, how fast can I get with RCS? It's an actual, basically, engine. Meters per second, 13 meters per second. 14 meters per second, 15. Right. I don't think I have enough. I definitely don't have enough to. Let's try 20 meters per second. See if it will flip. It should flip around 20 meters per second. We will check this and see. And turn. Yeah, 20 meters per second is too fast for it. 20 meters per second is too fast for it. But at least Valentina survived. And Jeb did, of course, too. Load save to quick save. So somewhere between 10 and 20 meters per second is our flipping point. So let's try 15. Oh,